Futurama does a good job mixing up its episodes, whether it be focused on a single character or more of a group adventure.
I'm slightly richer!
And this is one of the very few centered around Zoidberg. The title, Why Must I Be a Crustacean in Love, is a reference to the 1959 classic Teenager in Love by Dion and the Belmonts.
Why must I be a teenager in love?
Though the theme of this episode more closely resembles Star Trek's Amok Time. In fact, there are multiple references in this episode, so let's break it down and have a laugh doing it.
He's coming at it!
And be sure to stick around to the end for a vote for best moment.
You wish.
This episode being brought to you by the same network as The Simpsons. For now, at least.
Sort of a Comedy Central channel, and we're on it now.
And the only thing I ask for you to bring to this video is your ability to leave a like.
Large bet on myself in round one.
And My Old Kentucky Home from 1926 is our opening cartoon. Welcome to the Hip Joint, where Futurama fans get in free. Speaking of themes, two common themes that show up in this episode are in-show commercials, like this one for Robo-Rooters.
Call Robo-Rooter when you flush a towel.
A reference to the company Roto-Rooters. Just hopefully not that last part.
And we can also help with an impacted bowel.
And the other is, of course, Fry and Bender watching TV.
Watching cartoons.
Sorry.
Fry enjoying the food of the future, and Bender displaying a new level of laziness.
Ah, what is this, the Middle Ages?
That is, until Leela and Amy come in. And I don't think I've had a vote for best moment show up this early in an episode yet. And these kind of lines are usually reserved for Amy, like from the episode When Aliens Attack.
How do I look?
Like a cheap French harlot.
French?
But it's Fry's response to Leela's insult that lands itself in the first vote.
You've become a fat sack of crap.
Sack?
Bender, your beer belly's so big your door won't even close.
And no, Amy, that didn't make any sense. Zoidberg comes in, seeming extra jumpy today.
Excellent, excellent.
Because after Leela says they're going to the gym, he says,
I'm frisky as a squid on Tuesday.
Whatever the fuck that means. As they're walking through the gym, there's this crazy-looking six-legged alien that I'm very curious how his body works, or why he needs to exercise. This lady on the Kegel sizer, the dirtiest joke in the show according to creator David X. Cohen, which I am grateful the animators decided not to show us. But damn, she's got one strong put. Also, mom's son Larry is there, getting punched by a punching bag. I guess trying to beef up his abs, even though most of his abuse is to his face. Zoidberg skips out on the steam room to work out with the Nautilus. Sorry, had to point out one of Futurama's more corny jokes.
Yo, what's up, give up the rock.
Hopefully he's better at basketball than he is at volleyball.
Ugh, I've had it with this game. I'm going for a scuttle.
Fry stupids himself into the ladies' sauna and gets shamed for it.
Look what life was like before genetic engineering.
But if you remember, the professor told Fry in Mars University that genetic engineering was
Preposterous science fiction mumbo-jumbo.
So I think Leela and Amy are just being mean to Fry.
Those poor 20th century women.
And his shortcomings. Fry then hits the bench press. And I guess this gravity setting is there only for people like Fry to show off.
Look who's the super stud.
And I think Leela should be tried for attempted murder on this one. Luckily, like I pointed out in the last video, Fry is pretty durable.
Trees down! Trees down!
Zoidberg comes in and saves Fry before going ham on this bench. Leela really pissing him off with this one.
Maybe you could do more reps with less weight.
He then gets a little too angry at one of Bender's more lighthearted jabs.
Get it? He's coming at it!
And while he's rampaging around the gym, we catch a glimpse of two familiar faces. There's this crackhead guy from My Three Sons.
Come on, man. Don't hold out on me like this.
And this fat guy from the buffet in A Flight to Remember. We also see a lot of very stupid people on stationary bicycles. Before Zoidberg causes what looks like 5 births.
I'm a doctor!
Back at Planet Express, and finally under control with some very strong lobster rubber bands, though Amy's fooled a total of 9 times into taking them off. The 7 she mentions,
Fool me 7 times, shame on you.
almost this one,
Take off these rubber bands now.
I'll do it.
and the final one.
Dr. Zoidberg said I should hold these while he's gone.
Bender summing it up perfectly.
Stop!
No, Amy!
But it's the professor who somehow discovers Zoidberg's problem. And this is how it ties into the Star Trek episode Amok Time I mentioned in the opening. That episode being based around Spock and his species' biological need to return home for mating purposes. The crew being tasked with taking Zoidberg back to his home planet so he can get his freak on. Fry getting his second moment into this episode's vote.
An orgy of invertebrate sex.
I'm there!
Do you even understand the word invertebrate?
Nope, but that's not the word I'm interested in.
They make it to the sandy planet of Decapod 10.
The sand, always with the sand.
Leela sliding in for a landing, instead of just landing like she normally does. Fry not making the best first impression.
Is that how you say Zoidberg?
You didn't have to call attention to his speech impediment.
And Fry is full of great lines in this episode. Another one he drops while riding in the car.
Looking for a female swollen with eggs to accept my genetic material.
You and me both, brother.
And we need to talk about this car ride for a second. It sounds like a hover car from the Jetsons, but is bouncing along as they drive. And then when they pull over, we see it's on crab legs. Seems like the writers thought of this joke, which is funny.
Get it?
After they had already animated them driving along. And I guess Zoidberg is a cannibal now? We know he'll eat whatever, but one of his own? And is he sure this is Vinny?
Who's the tough guy now, Vinny?
Bender's inner thespian emerges
I could be an acting coach.
as he thinks they come upon some outdoor theater. But it's actually Clawplock. Something Fry is not interested in at all.
I didn't come here to see any activity involving 2 guys.
Then it's off to the beach for Zoidberg's weird-ass mating display. With all of these creeps, who, given the twist at the end, might have this whole thing figured out. But unfortunately, Zoidberg fails to attract a mate,
I've heard that line before.
and Bender knows why,
'Cause he's a loser.
being sure to get a jab at Fry.
He's the lobster equivalent of Fry.
Hey, I can get any girl I want anytime I want.
This is when Edna shows up, who is also not interested in Zoidberg.
I'm sorry, Zoidberg. You're just an inferior male specimen.
But she does kickstart the second act of the episode as Fry attempts to show Zoidberg how to trick a woman into mating.
I've never been so happy.
Something that Leela discovers she's been falling for all this time,
Wait a second. They've all been doing that to me.
even from Sean, who gets mentioned in a few episodes
Then one day, I found someone else's couch fibers on his butt.
before finally making an appearance in the final season. Fry tries to teach Zoidberg this art form,
Is desire to mate a feeling?
Oh, you're not even trying.
but decides to just go with him to talk to Edna and secretly tell him what to say.
Do I ask her to mate now?
3rd date.
Zoidberg still not quite getting it,
It has nothing to do with mating.
Fry, that doesn't make sense.
but it does work enough for her to get mildly interested in him,
Your genes seem less detrimental.
so they all go out to dinner at Red Primate, this planet's version of Red Lobster, though they still seem to serve seafood. Bender finishing up what must have been a great story.
The name of Honest Bender.
Zoidberg's toast, that Fry wrote,
Toast to coat check number 84.
doesn't seem to work as Edna leaves, and it's in the bathroom Leela tells Edna about Fry's magical words.
You mean words of such beauty came from the blowhole of that hideous alien?
Yeah. What?
So she calls him up to her room, or whatever you call this style message written on a fish. And she must be very turned on by Fry to greet him this way.
Can I interest you in some surf and turf?
Zoidberg catching them in the act.
Her caviar is on your neck!
So she releases eggs from her mouth? Or how did they get on Fry's neck like that? Was she ready to mate now or what? And where are the teeth she mentioned earlier?
Well, first I got up and had a piece of toast. Then I brushed my teeth.
Zoidberg ends up challenging Fry to claw pluck. And this fight is just like the fight between Spock and Kirk in the Star Trek episode. It being a fight to the death, the music, and one of the weapons available, though Fry chooses the Nutcracker. The fight is overseen by the Emperor.
The sacred tradition of Klauplach cannot be taken back.
And though this tradition isn't very old,
Only 18 years old, but it is a tradition nonetheless.
it's still treated very seriously, as Fry is unable to back out.
One of your friends must die.
And I love this exchange between Fry and Bender.
But if it's not too much trouble, when it comes to the 9th round, just let him win.
But it's a fight to the death.
As Bender is playing bookie for this fight to the death,
I'm giving 9-2 on Zoidberg, the crab with the jam.
trying to tip the odds in his favor.
Oh, so suddenly this is all about you.
And it seems like Zoidberg has the advantage, given Fry's inability to use the Nutcrackers, and Zoidberg being quick with the claw, marking a Z into Fry's shirt, like one masked bandit, before adding his title as doctor, of course.
When it comes to medicine, forget about it.
When they both have each other by the throat, I feel like this should be the end for Fry.
Come on, Fry! Die with dignity!
Zoidberg's claws have already been shown to be able to cut an iron bar with ease. They also cut clean through Fry's arm when he decides not to kill his friend, changing into a fresh shirt from the one Zoidberg cut up earlier. Fry isn't too happy about having his arm hacked off,
You bastard! I'll kill you!
so after he ties his sleeve to stop the bleeding one-handed, he starts beating Zoidberg with his own arm. And this is where the twist of the episode comes. Sorry, poor choice of words on that one.
Be depositing my jelly in the cloacal vents of a female, if you catch my drift.
As we learn that Zoidberg's species dies once it mates.
You have to choose between a life without sex and a gruesome death?
Yes.
Tough call.
Our only clue to this being the Emperor's statement before the fight.
Yet I embrace a life of celibacy in order to uphold our crazy tradition.
Zoidberg has to head home a virgin.
How will I ever get rid of my male jelly now?
Fry giving us the third and final vote as he tries to give Zoidberg a hand.
How will I ever get rid of my male jelly now?
I'll lend you this.
The episode ends with Zoidberg reattaching Fry's arm to the wrong side,
Do you think maybe you could take one more whack at this?
then cutting off his leg and presumably his head,
Third time's the charm.
which for this universe isn't a big deal. But don't cut this video short because we still need to vote for best moment,
You wish.
which has Fry in all three slots.
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Because damn, he was funny this episode.
Nobody correct him.
Will it be him getting upset only about a specific part of Leela's insult?
No offense, Fry, but you've become a fat sack of crap.
Sack?
His lack of vocabulary,
An orgy of invertebrate sex.
Oh, baby, I'm there.
Fry, do you even understand the word invertebrate?
Nope, but that's not the word I'm interested in.
or him trying to help out a friend.
How will I ever get rid of my male jelly now?
I'll lend you this.
Put your vote in the comments or pick any of the other great moments in this episode.
Stop! No, Amy!
Moron.
Be sure to like and subscribe and keep a lookout for the next video covering Put Your Head on My Shoulders.
Could chocolate just let me finish?